Yo, good day and welcome to another episode of RoadFS Detail Memoirs. We are live from Mobile Tech Expo with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Renny Doyle.
More of a myth.
I'm Jody.
More of a myth.
This
Who
is
are
Renny,
you?
and I am Rod.
If
I
you
have
don't
no
know
idea.
this guy,
What do I do with my hands?
I don't know. That's a personal issue.
Hold on. There we go.
You
do that.
Did you see him jump?
Rod
Yeah.
was like, woo, baby.
Rod's
that felt
comfortable doing
good.
that. Rod's like
Well,
going up, hey,
well,
keep doing
a little
that.
lower.
He's
Well,
sore.
Rod and been like spooning, at
Yeah.
Airbnb, so it's like he's used to it.
Yes, sure, bed. You guys got a studio B&B?
Yeah,
Airbnb?
studio. Well, at our Airbnb, Rod has the master suite. Ben's got the queen suite, and I got the 2 Mickey Mouse and mini beds.
That's it. Yeah, there you go.
I'm like, I'm sleeping by myself for sure.
The price is right. The
That's
price
right,
is right.
That's right, baby.
So no, we're super excited to be here with you. It's so cool to be back. And the show has been
Incredible.
amazing.
So like SEMA is like Dream Week.
Yes.
But I got to tell you, Diane, my wife, hit it perfectly because SEMA's big and bad and killer and good, but this is small, bad, killer, and great.
Well, the
Yeah.
thing that I really like about Mobile Tech Expo, and I mentioned this yesterday, Juan was on a live, and he
Yep.
was really encouraging the Spanish community to come to Mobile Tech Expo.
Yep.
And so he actually went down and walked down every single aisle of the trainings on Thursday and said, look, guys, here's this, here's that. And I actually counted, and there were over 80 classes in one
80.
day
That's
to help
incredible.
drive your business.
Well, and then the next morning, there's more,
yeah,
right?
I mean, it was absolutely epic.
Yep, I
That's
remember
good.
that. I love it. I love it. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for
good
swinging
morning.
by.
Good morning.
So I think that's one of the keys is when I go to a show and the education day, which is usually not the big ticket items, when it is packed. I mean, yours,
Packed.
your first one, our first one,
All of them.
the panels, everything, standing room only.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the fire marshals will be kicking us out of here, which is fantastic. That's what you
Absolutely.
want.
Yeah. Well, the one thing that we went to Sheldon and said is, dude, please add a second day
Yeah.
of classes.
Yes.
And I know that will take a little bit away from the show floor. It will, because if
No.
you add a second day where you can go in and listen to the classes you didn't get to listen to.
Yes,
I mean, here's the cool thing. You guys, where were we all education day? In the classes.
in the classes.
I mean, it was incredible. And it wasn't there. I mean, I'm sitting there taking notes in these classes. And you know what the other cool thing is to see all the younger or newer individuals or companies that are teaching now.
Yes.
I had people coming up and saying, oh, and I said, one. And they're like, why? And I said, because got to take and open it up. I don't like to, and it's nothing against people that are doing 10 classes, but there's so much knowledge to be shared. I don't want to hog that time.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and each person's perspective,
Oh,
your perspective, your personality may not resonate with one
Absolutely.
person, but somebody else you go in there's like, man, that just hits the feels.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going to motivate change in my business and my personal life.
right.
And that's just been really, eye-opening to me to realize the depth of education that's been going on. And I mean, it's been an amazing show, both on the floor and in the training.
Patios, we met PDR guys, we met, film people, we met, I mean, just the amount of after hour interaction with each other.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
we told this story and I had it a little wrong when I was in the class. My first time here was actually 04. It wasn't 06.
Oh, wow.
But here's what happened is I met Paul, a buddy of mine that's here. We've struck up a lifetime relationship. I remember leaving. Our daughter was about 6 or 7 months old. No, she was just shy of a year old. She was 10 months old. Which she's almost 18 now. Boise, Idaho. It was a forum. And I remember driving over from Haley to Boise, catching an airplane, coming down here with Dan, the owner of Mobile Works. And then we were like, wow, I didn't come back in 05. I came back in 06. And in 06, we met people. I think we met in 04, somewhere right in there.
Yeah.
But 06 was a launch pad because I got comfortable in the show. So my point is, your first year, you're like trying to figure things out. You really got to come back again. And I wish I wouldn't have skipped 05. I wish I would have been here in 06. But this show, it changed the industry and it changed my life, changed my business more than any other event I've attended in the history of my companies.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, as you've talked in some of your presentations about, that's where you hooked up with Jim Gogan, Harry Sandwich, some of these guys that
Mark Johnson,
third people that have been in business yourself, and to at that point in time to not have knowledge that kind of resource existed out there. And I think that's the key. Is everybody's like, well, what's the big deal about going there? It's just a bunch of booths. It's not the booths. It's the relationships you make. It is the connections you make with folks. I mean, we met in person. The Hutchins from the
England,
UK, leather repair company, in person. We talked to him, on the podcast,
forever.
Facebooks and stuff.
Absolutely,
and now we met him in person, and just the relationship
Isn't he
there
cool?
and connect.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Gosh.
Yeah, he's cool.
Him and his wife are cool.
So I think that's the key to this, is that it really, the industry getting out, coming out from underneath the rock. And making those connections and finally walking up to somebody and saying, hey, we've wanted to do this. I mean, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. I've had better conversations with the rag company, Levi and John and those guys, and Juan today and yesterday, and we're in the same town.
You guys are 5 miles from each other.
But we find that we actually have the time to get together and talk here.
It's, we've seen old friends. Here's the other thing is I had a beef with somebody in the industry, and neither one of us pushed it, we know we had a beef with each other, and in 5 minutes we fixed the beef.
That's good.
And we knew it was going to be fixed. He's a good guy, but we just, he was wrong, but
and it just got stirred up again.
But I think that there's no other place, if you think about it, where else can you go and talk to Renny Doyle, Diane Doyle,
Jason Rose,
Mike Phillips, and Jim Gogan, Mark Johnson, Little Mark,
Justin Lobato.
I mean, you're not going to get those kind of things.
Gwen.
Sydney, Kyle.
Yeah, and we are about ready to launch. This is something I can't say it yet. We're going to see a very strong female tie in with a powerhouse in the coming weeks. This detailer is
awesome.
One of my favorite people in the world.
Nice.
Tied in with another one of my favorite people in the world.
Bernice Berry.
No. Okay, good guess, because Bernice is
one of the
she's
top,
beast.
Man.
She's beast. No, this is another female that's going to pop out.
Awesome.
A lot of people don't know of her.
Marcella Loza.
Nope, another great female.
He's really trying.
He's really digging.
Dude, I'm going to go.
He's digging. That's another.
There's amazing women in this industry. That's my point.
It's you. Yeah.
That's
it.
That's going to be me.
You don't have to do a sex change. You're already there.
You're already there.
I'm a sweet-looking girl as it is.
That's exactly it. But no, she is. Well, how cool is it? You're guessing, and you could come up with names.
Oh, dude,
quick.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge impact. I mean, a couple years
Jennifer
ago,
Turcotte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at her.
Oh
my
gosh.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Kelly Kay.
Yeah.
Dude, I can just keep going. I mean, there's
exactly.
some amazing women.
Yeah, and then some of these have these names. The Buff and Queen. How many people know? I mean, come on,
Renee.
Yeah, it's so cool to see that. Okay, so Diane later today is leading her first live event.
I saw that. I'm so excited for that.
And it's an all-female panel.
And what time is that? Do you know?
You know what? I'll look it up.
That's
Let me look it up.
Just look at the MT schedule.
Yeah.
You don't see it.
It's pretty amazing. So let me go over and see if I can get it in my notes. But it's cool to see another segment of our industry that's really taking off. So let's find out what time that's at.
Well, and they're not just taking off. They're becoming drivers in the industry. I mean, they are having a real impact. They're leading the charge for men and women, and coming out with great products, great podcasts. When we were talking to our good friend at Bodie's, Amanda Owens, she's starting a podcast about boat detailing. I mean, her and her husband do a great job.
So at 2 p.m. at the P&S booth is Diane's leading a powerful panel called Beating the Odds.
I love it.
Beating the odds. And so, the point is, I've seen some of the questions. I might have played a little bit of a part in a couple of them. Maybe. But, they're going to share a woman's perspective because they've got such they don't have the testosterone levels that we've got.
No.
And it's just so powerful to see them really use their brain and their finesse.
Yes.
Instead of trying to muscle their way through an industry and, it's
and some of the best advice I've gotten has been from Diana Balboni. Diana, working side by side with some of these gals that they have a different way of doing it. They have their own way of doing it. And I think we, as men, we have to get over that and go to them for expertise. I was talking yesterday in one of our podcasts of, there's a stain on the convertible top on my new Porsche, right?
Yep.
Not new to me. And I immediately took it to Sydney. And I'm like, Sydney, how do we deal with this? I'm not going to do a test spot. I'm not going to go to that level. I'm going to go to somebody that's an expert and say, what should we use to get this out? So, I think it's just bringing people in at the same level and
absolutely. Well, all of us have daughters. And yesterday I had a guy, I won't mention his name. Well, I don't even know if I know his name. But we're talking about it, and he found out that we were pushing women. He had a beef with it.
What?
I'm not kidding you.
Are you
know what I told him?
Kidding me?
Yeah, I'm not kidding you. Hold on. Listen to this.
Sorry.
He goes, well, are women really strong enough to detail? And so here's the deal. I asked him. I said, hey, let me ask you a question. I said, are you a helicopter pilot? And he goes, no. My oldest daughter is. And I said, are you an F-35 or an F-22 maintenance officer? And he goes, no. And I said, well, my middle daughter is. And I said, so if you want to flex, I've got 2 girls to start with. The oldest one's a Marine, and the next one's Air Force. So if you want to screw with them, I'll put you in the octagon.
Dude.
Yeah,
we're gonna watch that.
I think that's just ego taking over because
it is.
I mean, I've got
it's more than ego.
It is. That was a chauvinist.
It's a disrespect for the role that women play both in an industry
society
and in our lives.
Yeah, that's exactly
right. And I think it's people thinking in an old way. Like all of my daughters do stuff that my wife is like, I would never do that. And I'm like, right, but you're not them.
Yep.
And so actually Jody and I are focusing like you guys are on education this year. We really want to promote education. And one of the things that Jody and I did is I've got a video, my youngest daughter, so Darren's
counterpart,
same
right.
She came to me, she bought a car last year. She came to me, she's like, Dad, the headlights are really dull. What are we going to do? And I just smiled.
Yeah.
And this is my daughter's never touched a polisher. My middle daughter, I already did this with, and we already posted a video, but I made her go through the whole process, 3 different levels of sandpaper, 3 different levels of polish.
That's so cool.
Highlighted the products, and part of it is that I wanted to just highlight her doing it, but the other one is I think it gives us an opportunity to look at ourselves and how we teach someone.
Yes.
How do we pass it down?
Absolutely.
Because you can't do it with a thumb on them, right? And I think I was mentioning going to the Rupes Training Center with you and Little Mark and the Parkers and Jason Rose and Dylan's there and Todd's there and Prentice was there, and you got all these experts, and I'm really intimidated because I'm on a black car,
right?
And it's the first time I've literally ever held a Rupes in my hand, and it's like flushing a toilet in Europe. It goes the wrong way.
Yeah.
And so for me, and so I'm polishing, and I thought, man, I'm about to get hammered.
You know what? Right when you said that, I'm going. I was like, does it really spin? And it does.
It does.
Hold on. Jeez.
So, and I thought I was about to get hammered because I thought, well, these guys, it's going to be heavy-handed. These guys are, but it wasn't. The only thing that anybody said is Little Mark reached over me because that's how small I am, and he just put a little bit of pressure. He put his hand on the polisher and he said, a little bit more pressure.
Right.
And that was it. And that's all it took.
So check this out. Little Mark. How big's Mark?
6'5".
Yeah.
I mean,
so check this out. A lot of people don't know this. So we were up at Monterey, and we had this. We were working on a Ferrari with original paint. This car was like a $14 million car, right? And we've got some real talent there, and the paint was real. So Mark and I get up there, and I'm not tall like Mark, but I'm not small, and we're all trying to figure out the paint on this. And the only 2 people that could finesse this, which was a very light touch, was the 2 biggest guys.
Yeah.
One in height and width, one in width, and we just had the touch. And so how cool is it that, big guys knowing how you don't have to muscle it.
Yeah.
is knowing when to muscle. And there's where I think the females, getting back into that.
Yeah.
I think that's where the females, and not only that, they know, since they've lost the testosterone level of it, is they know how important building the relationships are. Yep. They know how to build the relationships. And then they know how to finesse their business, not just the paint, but the business. And so I'm really excited to see. And here's the cool thing. None of us are a few years ago, we're kind of having to push that a little bit. Now the females, they're on their own track.
They're taking over.
Oh yeah,
they're on their own track.
Taking over.
And it's wonderful. Oh, I get chills. It's really cool to see that it's been a kind of an equalizer.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And they didn't come in with a chip on their shoulders.
No.
They've always been there. It's
Right.
just that, I mean, Doug has been doing this
Oh,
forever. And so it is actually just letting them come in and do their thing, and they're phenomenal. And I think that's one of the reasons we wanted to key in on. A lot of times people are scared to get training. They are intimidated to step back and say they don't know something, but that's the only way you learn how to do anything. I mean, I've told this story before, but I got the opportunity to go to one of Jason Kilmer's training on sanding.
Yeah,
now,
I've been
I
to two
been
now.
Sanding on cars for I don't know how many decades, but I started in the 80s, and I actually worked in a restoration shop.
Man, you're old.
And I'm old. And it's not that I thought, well, I know everything, but I was actually intimidated. I went to this show. I went to this training at the rag company. We're doing sanding. And the thing is people think that you have to really push when you sand. And that's the biggest problem. It is a finesse. It is little tiny. And man, I learned so much from that one training that has improved my ability to do that. And I think that's the key. It's just go in, learn something, drop your ego, and take the training.
Absolutely.
I think that's an important thing, too, in regards to business. I'm thinking about mine and your conversation yesterday with Megan and Clint and Marcus. And things I think a lot of times business owners do is they try to muscle every aspect of their business.
Absolutely.
Instead of slowing down to finesse it. And in that slowing down and analyzing and dissecting the challenges that they're encountering, they find the blueprint to move forward.
That's a great analogy, and I'll share this too, is that I used to be a power lifter, which still am, but not like I was.
Right.
And so learning to lift is that you add weight on slowly, you start getting better. And what you do is every once in a while you stress yourself. And if you can't get it up, it's good to feel that 400 and some pounds on you to see how you're going to handle it. Well, pretty soon I beat that 400. I got over the top. Well, okay, everything's got a season. Now let's flash to modern times.
Yep.
So I'm in the gym about 9 months ago. I'm working back up to try to get to that 400. I decide to jump ahead, and I've got 365 pounds on the bench. I do it once, got it with no problem. Do it twice. I tried to flex to do it third time, blew my shoulder out.
Ooh.
Business is no different.
Yeah,
I had no business pushing that far ahead.
Yeah.
I should have taken and come back, and now I would have been up to over 400 pounds. And business is the same way. You don't overextend yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Years and years ago, and I don't think that I ever told you this, but you and I and a couple other guys were in a kind of an after-hours patio thing.
Yep.
And I asked that whole group, I was like, hey, let's take the gloves off, give us some feedback on some stuff. And one of the things we got is Jody we have it written on a whiteboard, and it says, slow down to speed up.
I love that.
And it's a thing
I love
you guys seem to be running so fast that people don't you can't it's not about stay in your lane. It's that you have to come to that lane and you have to perfect it, and then you can move on, and then you can move on, and then you can move on.
Absolutely.
I can't jump in and go, hey, there's this new awesome PDR tool, and I want to start doing that, and grab that tool, because guess what? You're about to pay for a hood.
Yep.
You got to learn it first, and then look at the tools, learn the tools, practice on a bad panel, go to the junkyard, whatever, test spot. That's why we tell people spot, for crying out loud. Don't take a brand new product and jump in and go, I'm going to grab this woolly brush thing that I found on the internet, and I'm going to take my drill and just, oh my God, I just burned through the seats.
Or I'm going to spray some new wheel cleaner on all my black wheels all at one time and not test one out.
Yeah.
No, you know, and you talk about PDR. Those guys, I'll tell you, I just had to have a little oops taken out of my car. Somebody hit the side. I don't even know how it happened.
Yeah.
Man, are these guys artists or what?
Oh,
They
dude,
are,
they're
and
amazing.
I mean, it's like, you know, I sit there and look at these guys that are at the show. When we came here, this was all pretty much a PDR show, right? But you want to talk about an absolute crazy group of people that are passionate about what they do. So look at this, Sydney. It's Team Double Black. Look at these guys.
Right.
Oh, gosh. You guys.
I was going to say the man, the myth, but it's man, the woman.
Yeah, there you go. Right, there you go. There you go.
That's right.
There you go.
Podcast.
I love it.
That's
Right,
double
right,
podcast
right.
with
So
double bald guys.
hey.
So
who's bald? Oh yeah, that's us.
I am.
Yeah, I am too.
Absolutely.
But you know what? Check this out. Is that I started to get my in check, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
My hair's still coming back.
Oh, wow,
go.
that's
There
good.
you
So
go.
I don't know what to expect in another 6-8 months. I have no
It's
idea.
gonna be like long flowing.
No, I doubt that. It might be a little bit of little bit of wishful thinking. You know, it's like somebody said they saw Mel Gibson. They go, he's kind of balding, and it's like, man, I'd love to have my hair to that point.
Yeah,
You know?
I look at Mel Gibson.
Well, look at him.
I'm like,
Man, look at him. Look at this guy.
flowing line.
Yeah, he's got. You know, it's just there. It's beautiful.
Exactly.
You know.
Yeah.
So this year, upcoming stuff, Jody and I are booking ourselves everywhere. We got a massive amount of stuff going on. One of the things that we're trying to do is highlight other areas of auto recon. We have a beautiful video of a local company in Boise, Idaho, McDowell's Automotive Specialties. They did this amazing, like you're talking about, on a truck.
I just sat down with his son.
Yeah, Nate's amazing.
Dude, Nate and I can't remember his buddy's name that works with them, but we just fell in love with these guys. And I've known his dad for 20-something years, man.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just.
And he's thought about stuff. It's interesting because Bert has thought about stuff as far as marketing that he was talking to me about 15 years ago that people are just talking about. Tying into call campaigns, tying into social media. And so I think it's a real blessing that we have in the industry. We have a lot of older guys that are very knowledgeable and a lot of younger guys and gals that are coming up. And you need to look at both. You gotta step outside of that comfort zone and get both of those things.
I dig it.
And every day. And my philosophy that I push to people is be better today than you were yesterday, and you're better off. It's like with lifting weights. It's little steps
same thing.
at a time.
You know, I'm going to sit down. Shane's here. You guys know Shane out of Portland.
Yeah.
I really want to get back into, I don't know if I can right now with my shoulder. I'm not using it as an excuse. I've got to figure.
I get it.
I got to figure out how to get back in because I was getting, and now I've got everything's lined back up. My thyroid's doing good. I've got the time, and now it's just the dedication.
Yeah, exactly.
You do a great job of that. Your wife.
Yeah.
I watch.
Fun,
this is going to sound weird coming from a guy, but you guys are like so cute together.
Oh well, thanks.
And I mean that with. I'm serious.
I receive it.
Yeah. When I say that I say that from a point is that you guys are cute together. It's just. You don't see that too often.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
No, check this out.
Does,
33 years in 2 weeks.
Is that cool?
Yeah,
or what,
and
man?
I mean it's like, and I remember one time it was my mom and dad's 25th anniversary, and me and my dad were sunning in our refrigerator of a house. We were laying in front of the window, and the sun was warming our bodies, but also warming our souls. And we were kind of I was at least taking comfort in laying next to my dad. And it was just really calm.
That's
and
cool.
Just out of the blue, he goes, son, today's been 25 years. And the way I love your mom now compared to the way when we first got married, that was only puppy love.
Okay, how old were you at this point?
I was 16.
You know what's weird? Okay, our daughter's 17.
Yeah.
And coming down the elevator today, I looked at my wife and I said, we're more playful and I'm more in love with you than the day I met you.
Yeah.
And she put up with a lot of crap with each other, right? That's the idea. But I got to be honest. You are an inspiration to me to be better to my wife.
Well, thanks.
Because I see it that I've never been bad to my wife, but I've never been great to my wife. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I owe her so much of who I am that I could never repair.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's so, for somebody who's been in long term, all three of us, right? I mean, I'm 32 years this year.
We're 20 on June 22nd this year. I met my wife 27 years ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
20.
And so
That's cool.
I think people need to. That's also one of the reasons that the three of us are so badass, and you're never going to see us go away.
The women
because we are
walking with us.
Once you make a decision, you step through. We were talking about it today. There's certain decisions you go through the door and you can come back. I want to make it black and red. I want to make it black and green.
Yeah.
But when you make a decision like we have to be with somebody.
Dude, Rod, that's magic.
You make that decision.
Yes.
You go through the door. You shut it. You lock it. You bolt it. It's done.
Excuse my French. That is just. I've never thought. That's the longevity. I was on another podcast yesterday, and I had to somebody said, well, for those that do get great value out of their company, and that's all they want to do, there's the other side. You're just giving your share. And I said, yeah, but those people have never faced, what I do on the side, for a side gig.
Oh my God.
They've never faced anybody facing death.
Yeah.
That I've never once faced somebody that, and you can see them. They got the fancy watches on. They got the fancy airplane that just went grounded into the ground. They've got the fancy skis, whatever we're coming after. They got money. And several divorces. They're telling me what to tell their family because they've done that.
Yeah.
And then you've got people that are very satisfied in life. They're the outdoors people. They just got stuck in a bad position, and they're apologizing. They're please tell my family I'm so sorry,
Mm-hmm.
And there's such a difference. I don't want to be the dude that's vomiting up my sorries to my family because I was a jerk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things. If we were in that situation, I would have the solace and go, at least my family knows I love them.
Well, and I think a lot of times, sorry, I interrupted you. I think a lot of times, and this is a critique of men, right? We go to businesses and we do it wearing the mask of from that relationship.
Amen.
We're hiding the opportunity to build that. Would invest in our relationships as much as we're investing in our business. We will be successful across all aspects of our life.
Amen.
Yeah.
It so many times I was out there because I grew up like a lot of us did. I just no dad. And I harp on this a lot because I hope no dad, no money, no hope. But I had my gut, and I had a grandma mom that kept telling me I could be anything I wanted to be against all odds. Even when I'm put in a special ed. I go to school, I'm told I'm retarded. I go to school, I'm teased. I go to school, I get jumped. I can't tell you how many times I came home bloody, but I also got tough off that because I got tired of taking hits and started fighting back, and then it mellowed out. And then when I started whipping them a little bit, it stopped. It stopped completely. Life's going to whip you.
It is going to whip you.
It's going to whip you. And if you don't, to your point, A, you got to stay the course.
Yeah.
And B, you don't give up.
No.
And C, you're going to have to fight back.
Yes.
Yep. I actually, when I moved to Boise from Pocatello is a smaller community.
Yep.
Moved to Boise, it's the big community, and I wasn't used to that stuff. And one of the first days I went to school, I made the mistake of going and sitting on the ledge at the gymnasium right at lunchtime, and apparently for the cool kids. And I had this big group of kids come up to me, and they're like, "Okay, this is not your spot, your money or your life." And I said, "I'm going to take them both." And the guy grabbed me and he threw me down on the ground and he said, "Dude, we're going to beat your ass every day if you beat my ass, because I'm going to sit where I want to sit and I'm going to take both." And within a week, I was sitting on stage and nobody messed with me because it's not because I'm a badass. It's because I'm persistent, I'm stubborn, and I'm not going to take any crap from anybody.
Yeah.
But I think that's how we're raised. That's how we're brought up by whatever we're in, and I think you have to adapt and overcome. things as an opportunity to improve yourself and your surroundings without being a douche, right? I love this. My middle daughter, her mantra, it's the new golden rule for us. It's don't be a douche. You know when you are, and
Oh, you
just
totally
stop
do.
doing it.
I do.
Just stop.
And there's
doing
days where you kind of enjoy being a douche, you know?
Oh yeah.
And you know,
you
you're just a
got
little
that.
ornery, you know?
That's it.
Well, you know, it's funny. I'll never forget this. My brother Jerry, and I love him. He's a successful guy. I remember 1997, 1998. He comes out to the garage, and I'm working. I just built my mobile unit, but this car had a lot of needs, and I talked him into let me do it. You know, my garage up in Sun Valley. We lived right in Ketchum, and I remember my brother coming out. He's going to go up and he's going to go fly fish the Wood River, you know, the Wood River. And he goes, dude, just come with me. And I said, no, man, I'm working. I've got to finish. He goes, you know, dude, this business is never going to make anything of it. You're never, this is a year where you're going to make real money and make a name for yourself.
Yeah. You know, I've never told this show. That first time that I came to Mobile Tech Expo, you and I were at an after party, and I met this guy, and somebody said what I did, and he goes, "Oh man, you need to give up. This industry will never adopt technology." And to this day, he doesn't know who he is, but that has been motivators and Jody to promote our business, and not because we're mean about it. I shake this guy's hand, hug him every time I see him, but it's because I'm like that fuel of, I know this is right. I know this for Detail Supplier of the Year, just being nominated, just having a technology company nominated for Supplier of the Year, that is enough. And I don't think people realize that. For us, that's enough.
That's incredible. Well, it's, you know, but you got, again, you know, out of all the people, and I'm so glad that, you know, you and I were able to reconnect. We needed to, and it wasn't that things were bad. Last year was an amazing year, but I had a lot of personal challenges with my thyroid. My wife's, you know, had to have major, not just one major surgery, two, you know, activation with the guard. I mean, all these different things that. Okay, we had a pod. No, we got to pose for pictures.
Yeah,
man.
that's right.
You know,
at
this age, you got to try to look as good as you can. And so, you know,
pose.
But I think that, you know, for us to this whole show was a reconnect. I got a little honor this last year, and I figured out why. You're much the same. You're much the same. Bob Phillips is much the same. Keith, a lot of us.
Yes.
For a long time.
Yeah.
You need that.
And this show, Sheldon and those guys over the top. But you know who really killed it? The trench warfare people.
Yes.
The men and women that came to this show to support it. And I'm sure it's just going to get, I want to enjoy every moment, every week of every month, can you imagine the show next year?
Oh, it's going to be great. I mean, it's phenomenal. So, and
it's always getting bigger and better. And, you know, they're always adjusting things. The second day of the education, I think, is fabulous. You know, we're getting it honed down to where people understand what they're here to see. You know, I love Friday because there's a lot of people and it's busy. But I also love Saturday because the people that come are very targeted. They want to see and they want to be. So
now, if you build a software, if you're a software company, this is a horrible show. Don't come. If you've got selling products, it's horrible. Don't come. Mainly PDR.
If you want to learn how to grow your business,
don't come.
We're being smart. We're just around doing nothing.
So hey, let me ask you guys a question.
Okay.
And this goes to both of you. If that you're going to take away that you learn from this show, heart, what one thing did you learn just in the last 3 days, 2.5 days?
A good question. I have copious notes.
I can tell you for sure. We were talking about it on the ride over here. That is that I have a tendency to kind of flare up. A problem comes up, and I flare up about it, and then when I settle down, I can solve it. And I need to learn get that over with, or don't do it at all, and just accept that it's a challenge and I'm going to overcome it. It's
right.
It's not the end of the world.
Right.
I'm like you in some situations where when emergency arises, I don't hesitate. I was telling Jody the other day that we were going up to our property by Tamarack, and we got the second car after a truck flipped and went in the river. And I immediately skidded off the road and jumped out. And my wife goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I'm going to go help save somebody's life." So emergencies, I react. But when I have time to reflect about it, I take too much of my personal time and I allow someone to affect me. And lesson is, don't give people the permission to affect you.
Absolutely.
Just accept
Boy.
Don't give people permission to affect you.
Okay, that's my second takeaway.
So many people in this industry need to learn that. I mean, because there's plenty of opportunities for us, to happen to us. Dude, there's so many of them, but I think you need to find an edge somewhere in your life.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, so many times we hit a wall. COVID threw dug in themselves. They dug and they found a way to go over it, through it, under it, whatever. And sometimes to find success, you have to be in the answer.
I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, I walked away with a couple things. What both of you guys just said. For me, this is going to be a real personal response too, is that I need to become authentic. And what I mean by that is there's been a part of me that a lot of people admire and I don't. And it's real hard to admit this to myself, is I've been doing something for the last couple of years for other people and not me. It's not me that I got to change. And so 80% of it is complete nonsense that I do, and 20% of it's needed. And so I'm decided yesterday that I'm dropping that 80%. It's not me, and it's not going to affect people. Most people won't even maybe recognize that I'm doing it, but I know it. I've known it for a couple of years, and I don't like it. And so I decided to take it out of my life.
But I think that is a key point, and we know that you have to head out because your schedule is really packed. I think men and women at some point in their business, in their personal life, they have to be able to look in themselves in the mirror and be truly authentic with themselves. I'm an ass in this aspect of my life. I'm awesome in this aspect of my life. And I can do the things that are going to mold me, that are going to shape me into somebody better. I just finished the book with Will Smith.
Oh man,
it's
good.
It is the best book I've read in the last 3 years, hands down.
Wow, that says a lot.
And I have always been driven. I have this mindset about purpose, right? I'm always asking myself, what is my purpose? And of late, it has been, my purpose is that on your business and on your personal life. And he has a whole chapter on purpose. And he made a statement that has just really hit me. He said, purpose is the flowering of who you are. And you think about that, the journey that it takes for somebody to flower. You start out in the ground as a seed, and the seed self-implodes in a destructive way to begin that new life.
Right.
And then it has to fight and claw to get through the soil. And then it breaks in the sun, and all of a sudden it's like, I've arrived. But no, that's just the beginning of who you're becoming. And that ground that you were fighting against becomes the fertile ground for you to continue to grow. And as you grow, the leaves and the stems sprout, your character develops, and then you begin to flower.
Yeah. Boy. I really like that. And the reason why is because it starts out that struggle. They don't see the stuff under the earth.
No,
they don't see that when you see a plant growing through the asphalt, and you're like, think about that journey.
What does that thing just do?
Asphalt, and then all you see is this green thing at the top.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of people's journeys. But as humans, we focus on the hard stuff. We focus on, man, I had to go through the asphalt. No, focus on the beautiful part. You're there, right? You're there. So,
and you might just be a weed.
Yeah.
But the weed got there, and the carrot didn't.
Exactly.
Yep,
You know,
exactly.
and you know, there's the thing is that I grew up really as a weed. Everybody in my life, except for my mom and grandma, tossed me. And you know, I even found out. Well, I'll share that another time. But it's you know, there's things I found out about my youth that I didn't know as my mom, you know, was dying.
Yeah.
And it broke my heart because I can't imagine the pressure it put her underneath, you know. But it really did. My proud moment, you know, Snoop Dogg. I love this, and people didn't take it the right way. But man, as soon as he said it, I was like, changed my life. He was getting some lifetime award or something like that, and they said, hey, man, you know, who do you want to thank? And he goes, you know, I want to thank me for having the courage to do it. I want to thank me for not quitting, and I want to thank me for getting out in there and doing the work that a lot of people wouldn't do. And I just sat there and I went, man, when's the last time I thanked myself for? I found out like especially in recent years since my kids have gotten older, you know, I didn't do a lot of things right. I did a lot of things wrong, but I also did a lot of things right.
Yeah.
And I tried my level best, and they don't know the hell. They don't know how much asphalt I had to push up through.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, to get there.
Thing.
And so it's pretty cool. So
yeah,
we gotta let Renny go.
So Renny just got the bell ringed on him. So
Crazy
thank you so
awesome.
much for joining
thanks,
us.
guys. Thanks,
you guys. Thanks for joining us, and
You
we'll
bet.
check you in a little bit. And
See you guys.
Right
thanks for the
Mobile Tech
opportunity.
Expo.
See you later.
See you later.